of the Eastham Board of Library Trustees will be video recorded and broadcast over a local access channel 18 and through the town website at www.eastham-ma.gov. We are called to order at 4 o'clock. Okay, next order on the agenda are the minutes of April 8th. May I have a motion to accept the minutes as printed in the packet with edits, if any?
So moved.
We have a motion, a second discussion. Mary,
I have to apologize because I review these like everybody else. And in 8C, the 5th grade graduation books update, when we made the motion, we forgot to put in where the monies were to come from. And so I believe it should read to expend up to $500 on 5th grade graduation gift books and accompanying supplies to be paid from the trustee interest account.
yes,
I
Okay.
apologize, I did not see that when I
That's okay.
reviewed it the first time.
it's okay. So, the motion was to, accept the minutes as printed with edits, if any, so we have an edit, so Willow, you got that edit, I take it?
Sure.
Okay, all those in favor? Joanna,
Aye.
Mary, Sarah?
Aye.
Hello?
Aye.
Myself, aye. 5-0. Okay, public comment. Looking around the room, I don't think we have public comment this evening. But we do have a staff visit. Corey, welcome.
Oh, hello.
And we'll give you the floor, so have at it.
Yeah, all right. So, hello, everyone. I know all of you, most of you, all of you. Yeah.
Some of you, maybe sometimes some of us.
So yeah, so I'm here to talk about all the things that I do at the library. So I've made a list. I also got like vaccinated today, so I'm a little in a strange place in my brain. And if I say anything stupid, that is why. So yeah, so I do a lot of programming here. I run a lot of repeating programs that I do on either like a bi-monthly basis or a seasonal basis. I run trivia nights. I run a monthly book group and a bi-weekly book group. One of them is sci-fi, fantasy, and horror, usually novels. The other one is sci-fi and fantasy short stories. I run a seasonal open mic. I do like these Pokemon Magic, trading card game, tabletop role-playing game, Saturday events. That's like an open thing for people to come and do, which is like really great because it gets all ages. I run video game tournaments. I do a lot of the gardening programs. I coordinate with the master gardeners to do, they table weekly during like the growing season, and you come and ask them questions like, what's wrong with my tomatoes? They're like, why can't I grow cauliflower? I don't know if anyone can grow cauliflower out here.
And what do you tell them?
I don't tell them anything. The master gardeners tell them. Yeah, right. I also run a weekly writing group in this room where we now are meeting. That's on Saturdays from 11 till 12:15. That's where anyone can show up, and I do like a 5-minute writing prompt, and then people get to write for like 45 minutes to an hour, depending on how quickly my writing prompt is. And there's a little sharing. So it's like a really nice community thing. We're not like a critique group. It's just kind of like a get together and write, and it's just like pleasant. So besides programming, I run the seed library. I do a lot of the outreach to get the seeds. There's a lot of seed companies around the country that will donate 50 packets, 100 packets, 200 packets, depending on like what our needs are, which has been great. This year, I think because of the state of the world, a lot of them don't have as many seed packets to go out, or more people are asking for them. So if you notice that there are less seeds in the seed library, this is why. Marianne also helps me out with that. She goes to the Agways, and they give us tons of seeds. So she's helped me out a lot with that. In addition to that, I do other environmental librarian work. I'm one of the organizing members of the Blue Marble Librarians. We are a Massachusetts, kind of New England based group that does a lot of outreach for libraries who want to know about how to be more sustainable, what kind of environmental programs should we offer, what kind of gardening programs should we offer, grant opportunities. We also work in tandem with CREW, which is the Communities Responding to Extreme Weather. So we help set up hubs. We work as like a go-to point when people in the library world want to know about What are hubs? How do we become them? What's the point? Things like that. And we also run a blog that talks about different like library initiatives, and like cool things that libraries are doing that tie in some way with environmentalism. Like I wrote a post on the goats when we had the goats out back, like eating the poison ivy. So that's always fun. Last weekend I ran the local author fest, which was kind of like a big thing where we get like 30 writers together to come and like sell their books and talk about stuff. So that's a really nice community moment where we have a ton of local authors who are always asking for like to do programs at the library, but we don't have the time to do programs for like 35 different people. Or we're like, hey, we can give you this time and this place to do your thing, and like it's really nice. So we did that. Beyond that, I do acquisitions, mostly e-resources. So I'm the guy who buys all the stuff for Libby. I manage that. I check statistics and all that fun stuff. I am the guy who does the graphic novels, the video games for both J and adult. And I help Judy to some extent do the science fiction, fantasy, and horror and stuff that I'm into. Judy mostly buys the stuff before I ask for it anyway, because Judy's very on top of it. I also do the poetry. We don't do a whole lot of poetry though. I do a lot with the room management software that we have. So if you're like booking rooms, I'm often the person that people go through. Melanie also does a ton of that. I also usually like daily go into the calendar and be like, who's where? What's happening? Why are there people in this room when I didn't think there would be in there? So I do a lot of that. I also move a lot of furniture because I enjoy it. It brings me peace of mind. I don't have to think about
Thank
things,
goodness, it brings,
right?
it's a calming
Yeah,
experience.
it's my workout for the day.
Is that in your job description?
I think everything's in my job description.
Mary, moving chairs is in everybody's.
Did you have that on your
job.
list, moving furniture is on your list?
That's basically, when I say setup, I mean I move the chairs and sometimes the tables.
Debbie Abbott offered to help me with something, you weren't here, and then I was like, well, Corey will finish up tomorrow, and she's like, do you really want to make him do that? I was like, Corey loves to move the furniture.
Yeah, just let me move. It's great. I'm working on doing the library arboretum thing that I've talked about. I've got to reach back out to Dave to have him come now that all the trees are leafed out. But life is very busy right now, so it is not at the forefront of my mind, but that'll happen soon. I do a lot of the tech help. So if you go online to our website, there is a contact for tech help button that you can click, and like if you do, you and I will set up a time and we will figure out what's wrong with your computer. As long as it's a reasonable thing. I cannot get rid of viruses on computers. I cannot reformat things, or like there's a spear sticking through my laptop. Can you figure that out? I'm like, oh, no. So we do that. I'm the guy who does all the newsletter stuff. So if you get our weekly Wildberry, I put all the stuff in there and format that. I do a lot of the website work. So if you go to our website, the front page has all of our stuff that's going on. Like I manage that and keep that up to date. Don't look at it right now. There's something on there that's not up to date. I gotta get rid of that. I do a lot of staff training, mostly around technology when we get new stuff. Printers, the joy of printers. I do a lot of work.
Maybe you should have told us what you don't do.
Yeah, right.
Do you have a list of what you don't do?
I don't buy children's books.
Oh.
Well, it's-
About it.
Yeah, I do a lot of work with the printers for some reason these days. I mean, not for some reason, they're just sad. We're getting there. I work CERC when we need CERC. I do the museum passes with Melanie. I run all the social media, so I do the Facebook, the Instagram, the occasional TikTok. We don't do as many TikToks now because it hurts my brain. It's too much work. But it's good. We do it. It's funny. And I enjoy it. Occasionally I help Connie with cataloging. I help with building stuff from time to time. I pour water in the drains downstairs to make them not stinky. So I do things of that nature. Yeah, that's probably enough. Those are some of the things that I do here at the library. Questions, comments, concerns? Is that what I do at the end of this? But you got married.
You said that you're involved with the website. And I've recently been attending a program at the Council on Aging for people that are 80 years or older. And a number of them don't even aren't on, don't get with the Wowberry, which I think is
Mhm,
really
mhm.
helpful for anybody that wants to know what's going on. what
Yeah,
books,
yeah.
or even programs, music series and everything else like that. Is there a way, when people come in, perhaps at the circulation desk, to ask people if they are currently receiving Wowberry, and if not, to help them to put it on their, I mean, unfortunately, even some of the people I know that are my age don't even use the cell phones, but that's beside the point.
Yeah, yeah.
But for people that do, to get them to understand that is
Mhm.
something that they can receive on a regular basis, and how to put it on their on their cell phones.
Yeah, we use like every opportunity we can to be like, hey, check out the newsletter. Whenever someone comes in and asks me about programming, I'm always like, you can find that all on our newsletter.
Mhm.
And we have a very easy to get to link on our website. It's, you go to our website, it's literally right there on the left-hand side on the opening page. So at all programming that I do for the most part, I do a little shout out about like, check out our newsletter, sign up for the newsletter. And occasionally like I'll do posts online about it and stuff. So like we do chunks of it. Does that answer the question?
Well, I'm just wondering if everybody, you're talking about what you do.
Mhm.
Does everybody, is there a way to make sure that everybody that is up there when somebody takes a book out or something, says something, do you receive the weekly Wowberry information?
We have on our sign up for a library card form, we have a check mark, if people want to opt in at that point, so we
Mhm.
can add them
With
there.
a new card.
New cards. We haven't focused on staff training for everyone to ask, because we kind of find that, every time that somebody makes a transaction, they're asked to sign up for a newsletter, and sometimes people get a little resistant to that. So it's not like a tagline that I have staff
Mhm.
advertise, but what we could do is, we do have some space to have posters right up next to the desk, so we can
Yeah,
have it
yeah,
right there
yeah,
so people
yeah.
can see it, and then
That's
if
a
they
good
want
idea.
to know, they can
Yeah,
ask
yeah,
about
right,
it.
right, yeah.
Because I
And-
think for some people, it gives them, like, raises their hackles a little when they're like, I don't want to sign up for anything else right now.
Mhm.
So I kind of go back and forth on whether or not, staff should ask everybody who kind of comes
Mhm, mhm.
through.
No, I think
But
the idea of
yeah,
having
more
something
yeah.
at the circulation desk itself.
Yep.
So that when people take a book out or something, they
Yeah.
can see the sign and say, oh, that's, that's something, I don't get that,
Mhm.
how do I,
We could also put it in the COA newsletter. They're always looking to have tidbits, like Karen feeds them some stuff once in a while.
And
Um,
Corey will too.
And they could put that in the newsletter,
Yeah.
which a lot of the people that
that comes out in paper.
you're dealing with, yeah, but there's a lot of people that read it.
Oh, I agree, I
Yeah.
say it comes out in
But I mean,
paper.
that would tell them, it's very easy. All you need is your email.
Yeah, yeah.
So if you put it on there that this is available to you, you might pick up some people that way too.
Yeah, that's a good
Are
idea.
there,
Thank
are there any other questions for Corey?
I have another question. As you said that you're involved with an assortment of things. Are there programs that you feel you would like to have that you don't have the money for? Or that are things that would be able to be done in conjunction with other libraries and from a regional perspective?
No, Deb gives me all the money I ask for. No, I mean, whenever I want to do a program, I kind of just do it. Like from the feedback that Melanie got from our, what's that called?
The
Strategic
community,
plan?
the community
Yeah,
survey.
so I've been using that to do like filling in holes in the schedule for the summer. So I've been reaching out to people to do like, some people mentioned they want more history talks. Some people said more like nature talks and stuff like that. So I'm booking more people to do that kind of thing.
Mhm. You're talking about the comments on the survey.
Yeah, for programming, yeah.
So doing stuff like that, yeah, and I mean, whenever I have a new idea for a program, I'm always like, Deb, I need $200 for this thing. Can I have $200 for this thing? And then she says yes, and I do the thing. So,
That's great.
yeah, and I don't do a lot of other stuff with other libraries, just,
What happened tell me about Blue Marble again, because I haven't seen anything posted recently about them.
yeah, so our social media kind of doesn't, the person who's running our social media is no longer in the Blue Marble group,
Okay.
and none of us have the brain capacity to keep up with it, because we're
Okay.
already managing all the other ones.
I'm not sure what you're talking about.
Mm.
The
So
Blue
I don't
Marble
think,
Librarians?
I don't think everyone's familiar with the Blue Marble Librarians, if you wanna.
Yeah, I can say it again. So yeah, so the Blue Marble Librarians were a group of Massachusetts-based librarians and library workers who do a lot of outreach based on environmental programming, sustainability programming, involvement with crew communities responding to extreme weather. We do workshops from time to time. We arrange kind of large programs for kind of prep week, like almost every year we've done. Like one year we did a talk with some famous guy who's on like CBS in the morning. David Pogue? Yeah, David
Oh, yeah,
Pogue.
okay.
We did a talk with him on how to prepare for climate change. He wrote a book on it, and we did like a big talk that did all the Massachusetts, that any Massachusetts library could have signed up for. So we do programs like that occasionally. It's gone through some restructuring recently because our membership has different people have left the library sphere and gone into like academia or gone into other places. So now there's less of us. And we used to have a very robust social media platform, but now we don't because we don't have enough people to keep it going, and I am not going to volunteer to do it. Yeah, so that's that. That's that one.
Okay,
Thank you for all you
Yeah,
do.
thank you very much.
Very welcome. Yeah,
Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me here.
Yes, yes,
I'm
and
gonna go eat my salad.
I was gonna-
Yes.
I think you need some sustenance. You're
Yeah.
taking-
Why?
Yeah,
Do I seem that bad? Yeah.
no, not that bad. but-
Whenever I get vaccines rock me, they're bad.
okay.
Thanks, Corey.
Thank you,
Thank
Corey.
you.
Good night, everybody.
Okay, Livia, this is your final meeting, and do you have anything you wanted to share this evening?
Yeah, so like I was talking about, last time, I've been working on like the project that I talked about, like the idea from the beginning of sort of gathering like pictures and information about stuff and like the newly constructed parts of the school. And so I've been putting it together. It's almost done. I had a little issue with getting the pictures to like be rotated the right way. But once it's done, I was thinking obviously I could share it with all of you. But then if you're still interested in like making it a page on the library website, would I just still send it to you, or would I like maybe talk to Corey about it? It's not he,
You
because he
can definitely
mentioned.
send it to me,
Yeah.
and then I can loop them in just,
Okay.
you know, as it kind of becomes relevant. That sounds awesome.
Okay, yeah.
Thank you.
And then I also was thinking of like with the new girls coming in, sharing it with them so that they can edit it in the future, and then like maybe just sending them an email
Oh,
being like, okay, this is what I did.
a great
If you have
idea.
any questions about the program, you can ask me. And also because the other half of the school will be ready. It got pushed back, so like halfway through next year. So like that'll be like a bunch of new things that they could put in there if they wanted to take that up. So yeah.
Great,
Mhm.
Thank you for working on that.
yes, and thank you very much for keeping us very informed and
Mhm.
bringing information back and forth. That's really been very, very helpful, and we appreciate it tremendously.
Yeah,
Thank you.
this is a good experience.
Good.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Are you glad that you decided to do it?
Yeah, I am. It's definitely so interesting. I don't know, hearing like beyond like the stuff that I do, like hearing all the nitty gritty other
Mhm.
stuff like that I had no idea that like ever happened.
Yeah.
Like going behind running the library, it's, like I never knew most of the stuff, like all the stuff with the piano and.
Yeah.
And even just the process of
Yeah,
of
yeah, yeah.
public meetings
Yeah,
and things
cool.
like that.
Yeah.
And I think for a lot of the issues that come up
Mhm.
for us as well, it's the first time we're dealing with it. I've
Yeah.
never dealt with a piano before. You know, I mean, I've dealt with a leaky roof in my house, but I mean, never dealt with an ongoing project like
Yeah.
this. It's oftentimes it's a learning experience, and you just keep moving and you learn and you keep moving along. So it's, thank you for being here with us. It's been nice.
Yeah, thanks.
Okay, Debbie, Friends of the Library.
Okay, the nominating committee reported at the meeting last week. Gloria is stepping down after 18 years of invaluable service to the board. She's decided that time to step aside and let somebody else. And Tricia, who's now retired from Truro Library, is gonna take her place on the board. Quick schedule for the annual meeting. It's Leah has a program in the morning, so in order to not crowd it with starting at 1, we're starting at 2. For the business meeting and then the Wall of Honor announcement. And then Marka will come in right behind that. I told her around 2:30 to do her. For Turnip Talk, delving into the Eastham Historical Society archives to help tell the story of Eastham's history as a town and agricultural community through its first 3 centuries, and then zoom in on turnips. She just updated it for us, and she's going to be checking in with Melanie about doing it, the laptop on the big screen, because she's only used to doing it on smaller wall, that kind of thing. Which will be a good learning curve because she's going to be doing it in the bigger space in the new wing at the Historical Society too. Refreshments will be available at 2. Mary is unavailable. Mary Backus is unavailable, so we're going to do platters of fruit, cheese and crackers and cookies and stuff. Melanie met with the Friends budget team, which is Brian, Judy, and me, to discuss her fiscal year 26 needs and wants. She's done some adjusting in different categories as far as moving stuff the way she wants it. And, we told her, it's been the board's feeling always that, if things come along that additional requests that you want outside what is already in the budget, that please come and ask us, which is good because she's at the meeting every month and, there's things that come up. Our annual membership letter is going out at the beginning of June. And the spring concert series has been phenomenal. There's 2 more. There's one the 24th and one the 31st. And Windmill Weekend, the parade float. We had a meeting a couple of weeks ago, and I don't have the picture. I gave it to somebody, but Judy passed around this illustration. We have finally figured out a way to repurpose the umbrellas we used 2 years ago in our award-winning float. She found this drawing online of clear umbrellas with a cardboard around them, turning them into spaceships.
Yeah.
So each person can have their own personal spaceship and they can be, it's really cool. She's got the directions that came with it for how you slash the cardboard into these things that sit on top of the umbrella. So everybody will have a handle for it because it's an umbrella and we can decorate them any way we want to. And we decided that our theme, Roger proposed a float with ET and a bicycle and whatever else we want to add to the float for our
So fun.
wandering in space, up in space, whatever the theme is, something to do with space. Yeah, we were trying to figure out something and finally Roger wanted to do something that everybody said no. I don't know, something to do with cartoons or something, but anyway, so he proposed ET, which he can easily make out of plywood with his handy saws and all that kind of stuff. So, that's it.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Questions, comments?
What's the date of your annual meeting again? Your annual meeting, the date?
Oh, it's June 7th. We moved it. I think you and somebody else asked us to move it back. It's normally the 15th.
Oh, okay,
So it's the 7th. It's early.
okay.
And because I've been in touch with Mimi about it, I just want to
Yeah.
make sure she should be here at 2 o'clock, right?
Oh, yeah. She definitely. If not, she's probably coming to town earlier than that.
I don't know. I just want to make sure
Yeah.
that she's.
Yeah, she should be here by 2.
Yeah.
Because I think
mean,
that,
I've been in touch with her, but I
right.
wanted to make
did
sure
the-
that I've given her the
You
right
did it at the
information.
end of the business meeting last year,
Mhm.
right?
I believe so.
And that's still okay this year? I don't think we formally asked the board, so this was us kind of officially asking.
Oh, sure.
Okay,
Oh, yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Melanie,
Okay.
Alexis report.
Okay, hopefully everyone had a chance to take a look at my report. Just gonna give you all a few highlights. I did just want to say, excuse me, officially in a public meeting, I know Marianne has reached out to, I think, pretty much everybody, but she will be retiring this fall. We are really, really grateful that she's going to be continuing with us through the summer. I'm very sad that she's going to be leaving us, but grateful we'll have her for another few months and her last day will be September 6th. And I'll be looking to fill another full-time position in the fall.
Can I just say a few comments about Mary Ann?
Sure.
As you said, everybody is aware now that she's leaving on September 6th, as you said. And I guess I think that as a group, we should be looking forward to the fact that she's going on to some other venture, whatever that is. But I do have some concerns because as we went through all of with the MBLC and Michelle Everly on the, what's special about this library. Not one of the, but the many of the things that we mentioned, the Turnip Festival, the repurposed book art, work with the schools, et cetera, were all things that she was managing. And so I guess my concern is, and everybody felt both, I understood the staff and we did, because I was, when we met with them, Michelle, that those were one of the main three things that everybody thought were some of the best things about the library itself. So I'm concerned about how the transition of being able to accomplish some of those fantastic things without her here and the timing that she's leaving. So I'm not expecting an answer from you, but I just think that I have some concerns about trying to do some of those things that I don't think we want to not do when we don't have her. And whoever comes in to replace her isn't going to be one that has been doing it like Mary Ann's been doing it for years and years and years. So I do have some concerns about trying to transition from whomever replaces her to the fact that she's not going to be here. Those are my comments. I don't need
Yeah.
a response.
Can I just say, is there a process by which you as the director look at the job and the level of the job and the pay grade for that job, given how instrumental she has been in key programs for the library? I just wonder if that job should be re-leveled for the new person.
I have a few thoughts about succession planning, some things that I'm trying to work out, but we do also want to remind ourselves that the library is a whole community effort. And, while one person's contributions may be astounding for their career, and they absolutely have been, we need to recognize that we're not trying to necessarily replace her, exactly. Things might sort of change a little bit. I'm not envisioning that the Turnip Festival is going to be exactly the same as it's been, the way that Mary Ann's been doing it. I think that there might be some opportunity to get other staff involved in some of these activities that she's kind of built up. I'm not sure exactly what that's going to look like, but yes, there is going to be a little bit of looking at the position as it kind of sits as we look to fill that.
Perfect.
So yeah.
A question, is there any possibility of possibly doing some overlapping with the new person is hired while Mary Ann is still here, sort of a transition? I don't know how beneficial that would be or how possible that is, because obviously it would involve salaries. But at least to think about it. This tape and there's a 45-second gap. They're going to be wondering what happened.
Going on.
Rosemary, what's
Ro-
her
Rose-
name?
Rosemary. It's Rosemary's problem.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you. And if you guys have more, I'm happy to, have discussions sort of individually about this, but I just want to maybe not talk
Yeah.
about this sort of in a
No, that's
public
okay.
meeting sense. Okay, thank you. Okay, other things that we are doing right now, I wanted to mention that we currently have the Lighthouse Charter School student display of an art display in the teen room right now. They have masks and didgeridoos, which are very cool. So please take a look at that if you have a chance. We also have the World Ecosystem Projects from Amy Fleischer's 7th grade science class on display in the lobby and stairwell through the month of May. And I just wanted to mention that an upcoming exhibit that we're really excited about as a community collaborative effort is the Pride exhibit that the art committee is putting up in June. I wanted to announce that we are collaborating with the health department and hopefully some other folks in the community to put on the first annual Eastham Community Dinner, and that's going to be Monday, June 9th from 5 to 7 p.m. We are looking for volunteers for that. There's some information about that came out in Librarian and should be on the website too. But if people are interested in volunteering to help either set up or during the event or clean up after, those are all options. If you're interested in participating or just kind of coming, but it is going to be a reservation event because we want to make sure that we have enough food for the people who do attend.
Yes, I was gonna ask, how are you doing the food?
I reached out to restaurants in Eastham to see if anyone was willing to donate food.
Yep.
That's just our first effort to see if we can get more folks involved, because I think the more people that you get involved in a community effort, the more successful it can be. I've had a few responses now, but it is a little bit last minute as far as what I wanted to plan. So we do have a backup plan of kind of doing our own thing in the town hall kitchen, and Susie Barker's involved to make sure that we're all safe
Okay.
and how we bring it over and everything. But
Good.
the first goal is to see if we can have some community participation. That
Well, all
way.
the restaurants are open now. They all
Yeah.
opened on Friday night who weren't open, so you would think that
Yeah,
they would be able to help. Okay.
cool. And I just wanted to mention that we have rearranged a few sub collections upstairs. So things like travel books, paperbacks, and the Cape Cod collection have just shifted around a little bit where they are on the main floor. So if you have any questions about that, please feel free to ask staff to help you.
Excuse me, Bill, I just have a question back to the community dinner.
Yeah.
Are you planning on having that at the library?
Yes, sorry, we'll be at the library in the Turner Room.
So what's 120 people, is that?
Right now, we have, we're gonna open registration for 40 people to make sure there's enough places for the food to actually be set up, people to kind of help serve around and things like that, and to make sure there's enough space for tables and chairs with emergency exits and everything. So that's what we have prepared for right now.
Mhm.
Any other questions about that?
Sorry.
No,
Thank
that's
you.
okay. I am still working on a presentation to give you all the data in a more kind of palatable way for the community survey and strategic plan. I'm going to be sending that out to you all, and I'm hoping that, well, it kind of depends how you all feel, but if you don't feel there's a reason for us to meet and have that presentation together, it would be easier for me to set up more individual meetings with you than to get us all in the same room for a public meeting. So what I'm planning to do is send it all out to you, get individual feedback, meet with anybody who has any questions. And then if we felt we needed to meet in a larger group setting, we could do that. Yeah,
Yeah.
okay, great.
Yeah.
I think a workshop would be,
Yeah.
could we have a workshop on?
Workshop with the board?
Yeah.
Well, what do you want to be, what are you picturing as the result
Well,
of
to
the
get, to
workshop?
hear what other people have, if without an open meeting, we can just do 2 people, but if we have a meeting.
Yeah.
Just to hear what other people's ideas, thoughts, comments, not just individually. Go ahead.
Or you could do the 2-person or less
Mhm.
and then come together as a in
Yeah.
the regular meeting and have it as an agenda item just to debrief
Mm.
in a group.
Yeah, I was thinking have the smaller group, because then I think everybody has to interact more because it's a small group.
Mhm.
Okay, and then come together either at a regular meeting and just make sure we arrange the agenda in such a way so that there's adequate time to really then discuss what went on at the smaller meetings, or at that point, decide if a work session is needed to go over it. But I like the idea of having the small group input first.
Mhm.
And then if necessary,
Pull out, yep,
or
yeah.
not even if necessary, if desired,
Yeah,
then
Yep.
we can move in the other direction.
yeah,
Keep going.
okay. All right, so I will get that together and send it to you guys, and then we can schedule those smaller workshops and we'll go. from there.
Yeah.
Okay. I just have a note there about an update on the creative play space. Does anyone have any questions about that?
How much is the cost that you're anticipating spending?
It was about $5,000 for this phase of the project.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course. The last thing on here is a draft materials budget for FY 20, well, second to last thing is my draft materials budget for this coming fiscal year. This is just a draft. Things might change a little bit. We also don't have the final tabulation for what we spent in each category yet this year. So that might be adjusted at the end of the year once I determine, how much we've actually spent from each line. But this is just an outline so that we have our full unclassified budget from the town sort of sectioned out there. Any questions?
In the past, have we used some state aid when
What
we
I
needed it?
usually I save state aid for larger things or sort of special projects, or if there was an unexpected expense. That's usually where I use it. So I haven't been including the state aid in our sort of planned budget.
Okay.
The other piece is, I don't know exactly how this is going to shake out, but there are lots of libraries that aren't even like factoring state aid into their budgets because of the sort of uncertainty of the future and things like that. So we have a healthy pocket of state aid built up right now. But I am inclined to agree that it's sort of wise not to see that as sort of guaranteed income, just coming up.
Sort of sad.
Yeah, I agree. The last thing on my director's report, and this is really just, I think something maybe we need to discuss separately, or maybe if people want to give me some input, we can, kind of collect ideas and talk more about this. I don't know if everybody had a chance to look at the detail of the Timothy Smith fund information that I included on here.
Yeah.
It was
Read it
really
all.
fun reading.
Yes.
Thank you.
But it does say that the money should be used for books for the library, which in that reading kind of took out some ideas that I had, which was, it could be used for the community fridge project, which I'm hoping to kind of build up. It could be used towards the 5th grade graduation books, but that's not books for the library. Those are books that we give away. So I'm a little bit, what's a good actual use for this kind of a thing? I don't think that we need to sort of agonize about it right now, but just because the use is sort of limited, we want to make sure that we are keeping track of it, making sure we get it every year and that it's actually sort of expended. So that's kind of all I have to say on that right now.
Well, I met with Jackie at one of her meetings here at the library a couple months ago, and we talked about it. And I asked her to send me this information, so I think it's very helpful to see it. And I would like to use those monies wisely as he anticipated.
Thanks, ma'am. Any other comments about that? Okay, that is, I think, it from me. Thanks.
Okay. We are into old business. And I see we have a pet and animal policy to discuss. That's on page 15 in the packet.
Want me to just dive into that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's,
So this was coming out of a question from staff, how are we actually enforcing our behavior policy? We do have a line in our library usage and behavior policy that says that only service animals are allowed in the building, kind of hidden in a lot of other list of behaviors. One of the most common animal interactions we get is, somebody just coming in very quickly with a dog to pick up a book really quick. We don't often get animals, trying to hang out in the building with their owners. Other libraries do allow animals in there, so we're kind of trying to, how do we enforce this policy knowing that other libraries are doing it? And, how quickly do we enforce the policy given that most of these interactions are 5 minutes or less? So I decided to come up with a specific pets and animals policy that covers how animals are used in programs, that we do clean up after them, that under staff discretion, we may allow a dog to be brought into the building as long as leashed and well behaved for an owner to do a quick errand. But hanging out in the library would result in potentially less clean situations for folks who might have intense allergies. There are folks who have big fears of dogs. So we want to make sure that the library feels welcoming for them. So this policy is just kind of intended to cover all of those little contingencies and give staff a little bit of flexibility in how to enforce this policy. Did anyone have any questions or edit? Oh, and I did run it by Joanna as well, yes.
Yeah, I was just curious about the staff, and you said you had run it past Karen and
And
Corey.
Yeah,
And so, and this is kind of been going on in an unofficial capacity, so staff are fairly comfortable with that.
yeah, and I'm gonna follow up with it, because what kind of happens is, you know, the dog kind of comes in and we sort of like wait to see what happens for a few minutes, and then if somebody's like, oh, I'm going to like, you know, sit down, hang out, we'd be like, oh, I'm sorry, you know, we can't have dogs in the building, but usually it's like, if we don't say anything, they're gone by the time somebody were to, you know, come and get me theoretically. So yes, it's kind of what we've been softly doing in practice, and I'd like to make that a more formal process for staff.
And the staff feel comfortable, like if a dog is not well behaved, they'll be able, they're comfortable to say they need to leave.
I think in that situation, they would come and get me. We haven't ever had a situation where the dog was really not well behaved. I had one situation where someone had a small dog at a computer, it was like in her jacket, the dog was yapping. And I was like yelling over the dog, I was like, only service animals are allowed here, and she's yelling over it, it is a service. And I'm like, okay. So that was like the worst experience that I've ever had. So usually I handle the really.
But
bad
if you're not,
behavior.
and if you're not here, is there an appointed person that would?
That's a great
feel
question, and I will make sure to go through staff. It would be probably Karen and then Corey, but I'll make sure that there's a chain of command there. Thank you. Yeah. Mhm.
Oh, yes, go ahead, sir.
About dogs on the grounds. One, like, and I don't know the answer to this, I'm just asking, you know, do we need to discuss them on, you know, being walked around the grounds? Or also, have you ever had this situation where someone like ties their dog up outside to the bench
Oh, I've seen that.
or something like? Do we want to address that in here too? I don't know, I'm just bringing it up.
Good question. We've had, I've never had somebody like tie their dog to a bench and be out of a sight line of it.
Mhm.
And that gets kind of tricky because I am aware that those people are aware of the dog policy in the building, and so it's very
Yeah.
obvious that they are like tying their dog up in sight to be courteous of our rule, and then they go and kind of do their thing.
Yeah,
But then, you know, considering the grounds also, the animal control officer was here for a story time and had a conversation with a patron because that patron had left their dog in the car, and that's not allowed.
yeah.
So I think discussing the grounds could be applicable here, but it also gets a little bit like, I think tricky, you
Yeah,
know,
I don't know the answer. I'm just
Yeah.
like, what if someone shows up for a story time outside? with their
Yeah,
dog?
that is a really good point.
Yeah,
But
what
I don't have an answer.
yeah, what I was gonna say is, I like the brevity, the briefness of this, because we can't cover every
Yeah.
Yeah.
contingency, or we would have a very long policy. And I think this sort of establishes a foundation. And then depending on the experience, it may become necessary to, add a paragraph or
Right,
add a
a
sentence.
situation.
But I think that we're creating a policy. If we try to include all the contingencies, it would be, I think, a very lengthy.
Mhm.
And so many of the things that we could probably come up with, wouldn't apply. So I sort of like this as a starter policy that we can then review as needed, depending on reality,
Yeah.
depending on what happens.
If the board feels comfortable approving this as it is today, I can also, just, for context, follow up with the animal control officer to see if she has any recommendations, about it. So we can either approve this today, or I can, we can wait until I follow up with her.
No, this is good.
Yeah.
I'd like to see us do that, especially given that summer's right around the corner.
Mhm.
Okay.
Because I think if there's ever gonna be a time that you might need it, you might need something to fall back on. It's,
Yeah.
I'm here on vacation and
Right.
everything goes.
Mhm,
Mhm.
mhm.
Well, and
I
I've
think
noticed there have been times in the summer where there's been a program like the players reading outside and stuff, where somebody will come down with their dog and they'll be away from the crowd and they'll just sit on the grass.
Yeah.
With the dog on a leash.
Mhm.
And it's like,
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, that's,
You know.
it's
Yeah.
not bothering
Yeah.
anybody.
Yeah.
So I don't think we need to have outdoor regulations
Right.
and rules.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Unless the situation
Oh, yeah.
presents itself.
But
and
they're
then-
obviously, they're not, there's so many dogs too that are reactive that I think they're comfortable knowing that their dog doesn't want to be near a crowd, and so there's off in the distance.
That's good. So, may I have a motion to approve the Eastham Public Library Pets and Animals policy as printed in the packet?
So moved.
Second,
Second, any further discussion?
It's Joanna and Sarah.
Okay, seeing none, all those in favor, Joanna,
Aye.
Mary?
I,
I,
Well,
Aye.
myself, aye, 5-0, thank you. Okay, the next thing on the old business is the staff thank you gift from the board. Did you have any summary on that, Melanie?
Yeah, I didn't put in a motion there, because I'm not sure we actually need to vote for approval there, but I did just want to give you all the, final cost for that, which I should actually just add up really quick. Sorry, I have two different receipts here. It was.
who ended up being there? Sorry, I couldn't be there because I had to take care of.
We had a pretty good turnout. I think 4 of us were there.
Okay,
4
great.
board members were there, which is nice. Most of the staff was there.
Okay.
So really, you turned, Debbie
And
was
some
there.
friends.
Yeah,
Yeah.
three people from the friends.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
And some of the new staff were able to be there, which was great to get
Yeah.
them, introduced to the board and everything. And I will also, I'm gonna try and schedule on a future meeting, getting the new staff to present to the trustees, so you guys can get to know them and everything. The final cost, for the breakfast was $171.90. That was for coffee, juice, refreshments, and pastries
And yogurt.
and yogurt.
Okay. So, given that you have a cost on it, I'm assuming you probably laid that money out or somebody.
I did, and I'm just gonna reimburse it from the trustees account. I don't know that we need an official vote on it unless you want to vote on it officially.
I think we should.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay, let's
Yeah,
do that
I
then.
think since it's money, the amount was 171.90.
Yeah.
So may I have a motion to reimburse our library director for the costs related to the staff recognition held on May 16th in the amount of $171.90 from the trustee interest account?
I don't believe that's correct, because the what's the word I'm looking for? The envelopes for the books from the Brewster Bookstore were $245.
Didn't we already approve the spending of that, or did we
No.
not? Okay, then I did not include that in this cost.
Okay.
So
yeah.
this was food.
All right, so why don't we do this? This is food, and then we'll do the
Okay,
books,
let's do
okay?
that.
So we have did we get a motion on that? I don't
No.
think so,
No,
yeah.
so
Oh,
I'm
okay.
still confused. How about the money that we're paying for whatever the staff are getting from the Friends as compared to the.
That's already paid for. It went to the town and the town sent us a check today.
Because I thought we had approved it.
Yeah, I thought you did too.
So that was paid you paid,
To the friends.
so I'm not exactly sure. What did we do for the people that were getting stuff from the Friends?
Debbie provided me an invoice and I processed it from the town and expended those so that the Friends received a check that was cut from the town, from the trustees interest account to reimburse them for the cost of the gift cards.
And what we
So-
did was we made up, the library gift cards that we have, the ones.
Yeah,
that-
yeah.
We made up those, we put a Friends magnet on the top and wrote a little telling them that it was, I can't remember what we said, but anyway, said it was, from the trustees,
Mhm.
from the trustees, and it was to, for $35 to Friends of the Friends of the Library
Okay.
merchandise.
Okay,
Yeah, I can't remember what I wrote now.
so how many, because there were 7 gift certificates that I got for the staff from the
Right.
Brewster Bookstore.
We had
So they're actually. what was it?
7 or 8,
Yeah,
I think, from.
hold on.
I'm pretty lost on this motion.
We could, why
Yeah,
don't,
So we never made a motion to
You never
pay
really
for the
got to
gift.
Motion yet. I asked for one, but then it didn't
what,
get a second.
would it be okay, I mean, because I won't be here, so, but the next meeting, like consolidate all of the costs and then just have it on an agenda item.
Sure. Yeah,
Instead of
Do that.
trying to do it
Okay.
now.
yeah.
I will have
So what
that.
we'll do is we'll carry the cost. And the cost would be for the food, for the books,
Great.
and for the gifts from the
Friends, gift
friends.
cards, yeah, great. I'm gonna
And-
take the board thank you gifts right off the agenda.
Okay.
Yes,
And I have a question before we get on to the next. Do you know if the town has paid the $245 from the trustee interest account for the books? Because I got those gift certificates from them about a month ago now.
They did.
Okay, I just want to, as you and I have discussed, I just want to make sure that it's paid for because we had a problem a year ago.
Yes.
Thank you.
okay. Righty, that takes care of old business this
So
evening,
the only issue under old business was the
pet policy.
the animal and pet policy.
Mhm.
Thank you.
And under new business, I have an empty space here. Do we have any new business that we need to cover tonight?
No.
That's
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
Okay, and then that brings us to the building review checklist, which is on pages 16 and 17 in the packet.
So the last note that I had on here, was that my, last official update from Blue Sky that I got in email was, from April 25th. I have a little more to say on that, but I will say it after the meeting. The final walkthrough happened today with DPW and the other, project manager for this, so, this project is effectively complete now. They're gonna come and, replace the ceiling tiles that still have some stains up there, but that's pretty much the last thing that they're going to do. So I'm being told that this project is complete.
Okay, and I think that's good news.
Yeah.
And the fact that we're having a possible discussion of a nor'easter on Thursday might be the test.
I know there was
So-
two.
So they're
ladders
saying
and a
it's
bunch
not
of
gonna
guys.
leak anymore?
What they're saying.
There was two ladders and a bunch of guys on the roof today. What were they doing?
So they were checking because there was a little bit of confusion between the on-site project manager and, I don't know, myself. Anyway, they said that the roofer was gonna come and do one more thing, but I think it was a cleanup thing. It wasn't a repair thing, and so they were up on the roof making sure that everything was good to go. And they said it is good to go. The repair has been made.
Okay, great.
Okay,
Good news.
Yes, and they will be informing Scott Baird of what material they use for the six, so that we know if we need to touch that up in future years, what material we should be using to do that.
okay.
End of an era, maybe.
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 So yeah, I will be adding to this, just that the final walkthrough happened today, so we have a note on that. There are no updates regarding the rest of the building maintenance checklist. Just a note, I do need to follow back up with Lower Cape Electric because they did come on site the end of last month to update some lighting in the children's room because it's a little dark in the corner by the nonfiction. So I'm gonna follow up with them. He said he seemed very confident that they could get us bulbs that would be brighter, so we'll see about that.
Okay, that sounds very good. Is there any other business that anyone wants to raise?
I could just say a little something.
Yes,
Okay, and I'll just read. Though I'm leaving the board, I'd like to share a concern that I have about the process of our meetings. There have been a few times when a board member have brought up a concern or an issue that's not on the agenda. Case in point is the Timothy Smith Fund. At our February meeting, a concern was raised that the library had not been receiving the fund's yearly gift. This was a topic that wasn't on the agenda. After some discussion, I motioned for a vote, which in hindsight was hasty and not procedurally appropriate. I don't think it's fair to Melanie or other board members for a board member to bring up items that aren't on the agenda other than under other business. In my opinion, if a topic is raised at that time, no discussion should take place, but the chair may opt to bring the topic up under an agenda item at a future meeting. This way, Melanie has the opportunity to adequately research the subject or topic and share relevant information with the rest of the board before there's a discussion. So I just wanted to put that out there for future consideration.
okay, thank you for your comments.
Sure.
Appreciated.
Would
Sure.
you like
Okay.
that in the minutes?
Up to you.
Sure, I can send it to you
Okay,
if you'd like. Okay, I will. Yeah.
I have under other business just two short items. Joanna, I'd like to present you with a certificate from your fellow board members,
Thank you.
thanking you for your service on the
Thank you.
board.
I really appreciated all of you. Thank you. You guys are great.
And Olivia, I would also want to give you a certificate expressing our appreciation for your contributions this year. And there is a certificate signed by the board members.
Thank
Thank you very much for your service.
Thank you, Olivia.
We have our next meeting is scheduled for June 17th at 4 o'clock. And the agenda planning meeting is to be determined. And I would ask for a motion to adjourn.
Can I just make a comment
Yes.
that I'd like to discuss at the next meeting is which I know we've mentioned before, with their new person joining, is the time of this meeting.
Okay. So the time for the trustee meeting.
Yes, for the monthly meeting.
Okay. Okay, let's, yeah, especially when we have the new person, yeah, let's put it on the agenda for discussion at the next meeting.
Mhm.
And I think what we would have to do is find out everybody's availability. So that we could, find the time that's gonna be best for all the board if possible.
Right, I was kind of
Yeah.
just mentioning it now to
Yeah.
place a seed in everybody's head to come kind of prepared to
Yeah.
talk about what their flexibility would be
Yeah.
with the time and I could, I guess, reach out to the students perhaps too and ask them. I don't, yeah. Well, what time does school get out? 2:50?
3. Oh, well,
3 o'clock.
yeah, 2:57, something like that, yeah.
But then they might have sports or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, well, why don't we do this? We'll put it on the agenda for
Yeah.
the next meeting. We'll get it out there and we'll see what the issues are that need to be discussed.
Okay,
And,
Will we know who was replacing Joanna and
yes.
what?
I would
the
imagine by-
final-
8 o'clock.
Tonight.
we'll know that tonight.
Maybe
Yeah.
when we're sitting.
I know, it's a dinner.
So, yeah, let's do that. We'll just put it on the agenda. And, that will, be a reminder, since it's on the agenda, for everybody to check their calendar regarding their availability. And to come to the meeting knowing when they would be able to meet and knowing when,
When they
they
couldn't.
just can't.
Thank you.
And then, see what comes together when it gels. Okay, may I have a motion to adjourn?
Can I just say one more thing out? I
Sure.
just wanted to, I try to reiterate every once in a while, but if anybody wants to set up a one-on-one meeting with me to discuss anything, I feel badly that I cut folks off earlier in the meeting. I don't ever want to hinder discussion. So I'm always happy to discuss it, just some things I prefer to keep off of a recorded meeting. So thank you, appreciate it.
Motion to adjourn?
I moved that we adjourn.
Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second discussion. Okay, Joanna,
Aye.
Mary,
Aye.
Sarah?
Hi, 4:59.
Okay.
All right.
That's.
Great.